These planes that you speak about, these dimensions, what are these?
Yes, we all once were in the absolute reality, which we call heaven, God, Godhead, or whatever. And then we left on our own accord because we used our ego, our selfishness, and because it's all a vibration. So we removed our vibration away from the pure vibration, and slowly we came in what we call 7 spheres, which are like the rainbow. They are not clearly defined, but they go into each other. The first one is the closest one to the pure heaven, and then further away up to the 7 spheres, which is furthest away. This is also where the material universe is part of. This is where we are right now. And when we return, when we die, go in one of the first 4 levels. Depending on how spiritually we are evolved. And in these 4 levels, each level is different. Where we learn the first is order, where we learn order, bring order in our thoughts, in our words. And then comes a will. The next level is the divine will. We understand the difference between self-will and God's will, the will for everybody. And then comes the wisdom, and so on, and then eventually earnestness, and so on. So we learn more and more. Each level is a learning realm, and each level gets better and better if we get higher. And we only are in the first 4 levels. That is the circle of reincarnation. Reincarnation does not go into the 5th, 6th, and 7th level.
So then there's no way out of this cycle of life and death. We keep going around and round until we transcend the 5th plane, maybe, and then don't come back to planet Earth.
The 5th one would be no longer back. No, there is no need anymore. Even the 4th one, there's not. Not everybody has to come back to Earth. There is a lot of teaching going on in the spiritual realm. Going to Earth is only a decision that the soul makes to come for a very short time, as we said earlier, 25,000 hours at the moment, to be really intensely trained, because it's like going to Harvard or Yale, to one of these top universities. You go in there with the understanding that you have to work very, very, very hard to stay in it, and it will not be easy. It will be not comfortable necessarily. It will be challenging. And in the very short time, you can alleviate a lot of karma, either through enduring it, to forgiveness, making amends, or whatever is necessary, which can take eons and eons in the spiritual world. Because here on Earth, the Earth is a very unique planet because it can attract souls from all 4 levels, of all different religions, of all different programs, of all different ideas. They're all mixing together on Earth, which is unusual. And that is where our great gift, so that we can meet souls from different levels here, and also souls whom we have heard or have had us in the past, in previous lifetimes, and who are no longer close to us in the spiritual realm. So here on Earth, we can all meet again. It's a very intense schooling. And everybody here, you and I and everybody else, have agreed to be here. Nobody is here against their will. That would be against the law of God, who does not interfere with our will. So yes, life is very tough, and nobody says, I would have never chosen this life had I known this is this. No, you did choose it. On a different level, you understood that the pain, the suffering, the loneliness, the despair that you're going through here is exactly what your soul needed to become more compassionate, more loving, to clear your karma and to become free away. Because everything that we experience here happens for us and not to us.
Right. But why planet Earth only? There are other planets, where the souls could go to. And does the Earth have a soul?
Earth has a soul too, yes. And Earth is going to evolve right now as well into a higher region. And that's a very interesting thing. It's my new video, which comes out next month, where I talk about it, about the sudden explosion of population here on Earth. Yeah. Until the 19th century, we had a very steady growth. If it was always the same, there was 1.5 billion people only 120 years ago. Now we are reaching 8 billion people. And what is the reason for it? It's very simple. Earth is evolving into a higher vibration. And it is a very difficult, it's like giving birth. It's just birth pain. We have to go through a lot of birth pain. We mentioned earlier, you have problems in India with people revolting.
Yes.
We definitely have our share of problems. And everywhere else are big problems, and individually as well as collectively. These are the earth, the pains of the earth is going through before being born again. And this is the great, great opportunity for a soul to experience all this and then to become free of their karma. Therefore, this event has been known in the spiritual worlds for a long time. And that's why there's this enormous pressure of souls incarnating at this time to be part of this transition and experiencing it. The problem is that unfortunately in the first world countries, there are not enough bodies. We do have abortion and we have got birth control. And therefore these souls, although they are not vibrationally necessarily identical, just to come here, they go to the third world countries. And therefore we have in those third world countries these explosions of populations. These are all souls who decided to be here at this great transition. And they're also souls from the lower spheres, from the astral spheres, which are of very low vibration. And they know that once the earth has reached a higher level, they no longer can incarnate even if they wanted to. So they are stuck in their lower vibration for a long time and have to clear up their karma in that one. So yes, it is a very, very unique time. You and I and everybody else is here. And we should use a form of gratefulness maybe, because it is a great opportunity to be here. It's the same like you are accepted in Yale or Harvard. You are grateful to be here and make the best of it. It's only a short time. And once we understand this whole picture of existence, then everything gets into perspective and can endure. And we understand that everything happens to us or for us is actually nothing but a step back to the pure heaven, to our true identity, to the absolute reality.
How beautiful is that? Yeah, but during these times, these current times when the pandemic is on and, there is a lot of, angst in the people, it has also been a time when they've been able to introspect more. Maybe they've been pushed into it. Also, I was reading somewhere that the earth is spinning at a much faster rate than it was earlier. Therefore, the days moving fast, time moving so quickly. And because of that and some loss of gravity, I think the minds of people have opened, the consciousness is more open to the other.
It is not only that the earth, we can also feel things go faster. Not only because when you're aging, we have the sense of time goes faster,
Right.
But it does go faster. And one thing, for instance, which I notice very clearly in my is I usually, as a writer, I've got my system of how much time I spend on writing and doing things and so on. It has always worked fine. But recently, I find it difficult to achieve all the stuff which I set out to do during the day. Oh. And all right, look, we have got the pandemic here. It's not that I'm rushing around to do other things. I'm at home and I have time to do this stuff. And yet I'm not really fulfilling all the things which I have planned and I have to live with it. Even in this respect, life goes faster and faster. And this is done purposely as a blessing. Because if there are more difficult times to come, and even individually difficult time, it gets shortened. We have to see this as a blessing from divinity, that it goes faster. It's like the birth pains going faster and faster, and finally the earth is there.
Right. This is done deliberately. But, the earth, you say, is a school. And we have to progress in school and go on to university and so on. We aspire to be the best. And after we pass away, in the other world, we're still aspiring to pass from level to level, go to a higher level. Where does it end? Do souls have desires? Do they have aspirations?
Very much so. The fact that we die does not mean we change. If we are stupid here on earth, we are stupid here on the other side too. I mean, that's no different. If we have got strong desires and understanding, as I said earlier, that vibration brings us to that thing. We do not suddenly change our character and understanding just to the effect of death. So what we desire in this earth, in this lifetime, will continue on the other side. And the natural deep down desire for all of us is to come home, to come to our true essence. And yes, you are right. In the spiritual spheres, the teaching continues. As we are here at Harvard, but there the kindergarten or whatever is necessary continues, and the soul slowly and gradually goes high. However, it takes much more time in the spiritual realm, and can also be more painful.
More painful in the spiritual world?
Oh, yes, because here on earth we have got the physical body, and the physical body buffers our karma. So we can do something about it. We can take medicine and so on. In the spiritual world, we do not have the physical body, and the karmic burden can really be very raw and can be very painful. I'm talking really much of the lower sphere of astral spheres and so on. Hopefully most people are a little bit more evolved and don't have to go through that one. But yes, the karma has to be undone in one way or the other, and we're experiencing more painful in the spiritual world than we do it here. But everywhere where we are, in the spirit world as well as here, we do have guardian spirits, guides who help us through. So we are never ever alone. And everything and everyone higher evolved than we are, who are our teachers, our helpers, will guide us back to the light, we may call it, back to the Godhead. And the whole system, it's a big topic now if we teach how this all happened. Basically, we created this whole spheres outside of pure heavens ourselves. Our souls created this as an alternative to the pure heaven. But it's a very long topic. But in spite, all of this is carried by God, by love. And the love carrying things goes through everything. You and I can only are alive because of this love energy, because of the divine energy, the God, we call it spirit. And spirit doesn't know pain or suffering. God doesn't know our pain. It doesn't know about pain and suffering, yet it's always ready to help and give more energy and more energy. And it's up to us to use it in the right way. So there is full compassion and understanding from the other side. But it's always here for us to use it as we wish to use it. So God is totally on our side. Spirit is totally at our side. We are surrounded by God. Everything contains God. God is in us. So we don't have to go to any temple, to any church or mosque or whatever. He's always with us, the energy. We do have that divine energy, the God spark in each one of us. And that we can communicate through prayer, meditation, and whatever we wish to, or dialogue we can do. And it's there. It's always there, 24 hours. God does not take coffee breaks.
Then God is the orchestrator of, this universal, spiritual, the laws of the spiritual and universal world. God is love, you say. God is forgiveness. And I so believe that each of us, we have God in us. And yes, I believe that too. However, there's a question that comes to mind. There are people who are born and they suffer. On the other hand, there are people who have a good life. There are rapes, there are tortures, there's terrorism and war. God is love, God is forgiveness. We can attribute all of this to karma. But what God wants payback, wants retribution.
Yeah, that is a very good question. How does God allow these things?